the soul's body had died, going nova in a beautiful display of fire and energy, releasing the soul from the tired body so long inhabited. The soul had taken a long and well-deserved rest. Now, it was time to prepare for the next incarnation. The soul, named Maa, was ready for rebirth into a new and lovely body. So it came to the Shin. The Shin are the angelic order of souls who help create, monitor, and support planetary bodies within the macrocosmos. The macrocosmos is everything there is. Maa is a planetary soul, ready for a new body. A group of beings would now be assigned the task of spinning a material body for this soul's next life, and staying with it throughout that entire lifetime. We Shin would become the co-creators, guardians, and teachers of the souls, sharing a space and time adventure with the Maa entity. In this case, Maa was assigned 12 Shin. Once we all agreed, we added the soul's name to ours, becoming the Shin Maa. This would be our designation and our task for the lifetime of the new planet body. We would now be a team of 13 soul partners, 12 Shin and Maa. The Shin Maa are part of the birth and rebirth cycle of the planet, and have been with this planetary soul since Maa's original request for a new body. The members of the Shin agreed to live with, work with, and reincarnate with the planetary soul throughout this lifetime. This is our responsibility, our challenge, and our joy. We share our destinies and our duties with Maa. So this is our story, her story, and your story. We began by seeking permission. We all work under the guidance and awareness of the higher power, the Tao, God Source, at all times. This one power really is the original source and guiding authority of all that is, was, or ever will be, far beyond any planetary system or galaxy. Think of this force in a scientific model, think of it in a spiritual model, or some combination. It is your choice. It all comes back to that one unifying and creative force and consciousness. There is an underlying and overarching force within the macrocosmos. This universal, all-encompassing power of love, wisdom, order, chaos, creation, and destruction is the source of all that we are and do. It is only through the auspices of the Tao, God power, that these things are possible. So we gain permission to create a new planetary life system for Maa. Part of this permission was access to the great creative force necessary to spin a new world and new lifetimes. We became the emissaries and wielders of the God force in our joint endeavor. The soul's choice was to be female. There would be a balance of male and female energies throughout her system, but the overall force would be female. She chose the name Gaia. She knew that her inhabitants would have many other names for her, but her true name for this lifetime would be Gaia. The soul name Maa is eternal, and the soul carries this name always. But like other souls, The creation of a new life and a new body brings a new identity. Now she is Gaia, and we would call her new planet body Earth. Since these associations would be long-standing and fixed in proximity, the selection of a planet's family is very important and is carefully considered. Many decisions were made as we helped her plan her new body. We planned the structure and the process of development all very carefully. The first order of business was to select a family and a location within the macrocosmos. It was decided. Her new family would have a father figure called Sol, the single primary star of her solar system. She was to be the fourth born into her new family, located in the third position from Father Sol. The mother would be the binding, creative force of space that holds these planets together in a cohesive structure. That family would eventually include sister-brother planets Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, plus a couple of others that were anticipated to join the group. They would all reside within the larger community referred to as a galaxy, given the name Milky Way. Next, it was decided that her body would hold samples of life forms and materials from many other planets and galaxies. Gaia would become a library and central repository of knowledge for other universes and soul clusters. This would also allow her to become a laboratory and a school of sorts for a series of evolving experimental life forms and minerals. Although onerous and challenging, this was seen as an exciting adventure that Gaia gladly accepted. The souls that would join us would all have bodies structured in complementary patterns designed to work with the new Gaia body. Each body pattern would differ, yet carry enough similarity to be a viable part of the greater body of this new planet. Each individual, or self, would be a single cell within the larger system, a cell body. Since this would be an evolving system, a process was developed where any new proposals must go through the Committee of Gaia and the Shin Maa. As a result, the beings of the Shin Maa must agree to stay with Gaia throughout her entire lifetime, experiencing their own reincarnations with her. This we have done. Once the location, family, and structure were selected, and we were granted access to the Tao God power, we began the creation process. We sent out a call for souls that were ready to be reincarnated and who wanted to be part of this creation process. 20 responded and were accepted. They were taken into the fold as cell bodies for this new planet. Between Gaia, the Shin Maa, and the new cell body souls, we were an original soul group of 33. The Shin Maa were separate in some parts of our awareness, yet full participants in this grand experiment. Stage 1. The first period of time. We were all birthed into a gaseous cloud of pure life, a type of cosmic soup. The original soul beings were purely gaseous, with consciousness and no solid form. The amorphous, shifting energies could easily interact, and yet be connected with our higher wisdom. These were our soul bodies made manifest into consciousness, or minds. We lived in this state long enough to get to know one another and grow comfortable with what we were about to experience. Stage 2. The second period of time. The Soul Collective realized that the schooling and testing of souls would depend upon a greater distance from the natural wisdom of the Tao God awareness. So the Soul Group requested more density of form. We obliged by using the ethereal energies to spin their gaseous forms into a new fluidic form. For a very long time, the fluidic form served all very well. All beings were still connected, yet the denser energies enabled all to experience life and growth on a more basic level. The learning experiences began to have effect. When the Soul Collective felt it had experienced all it could in that form, it once more turned to the Shin Maa for help. Stage 3. The third period of time. To create a denser learning vehicle, bodies, we needed to spin a mineral body for the Gaia Ma soul. We also spun bodies for the cell bodies into pure crystalline physical mass. For the first time, we were somewhat separated by this crystalline form, no longer amorphous or fully experiencing shared space. We now had some definition of self, some separation. Since the material form needed substance and other physical forms to interact with, we spun a basic environment. We all lived and learned in these new energy material bodies, a part of what we now recognize as subtle bodies. Stage 4. The fourth period of time. In time, we spun denser physical forms, or flesh bodies, to house our souls. We were pleased with our new flesh and blood bodies. In these new forms were many new opportunities for growth, along with new forms of wisdom and new experiences to explore. The bodies were living physical partners that housed our souls. We all lived in partnerships of spiritual, cognitive, and physical bodies. The learning quest was accelerated. Stage 5. The fifth period of time. Later, to support these denser physical forms, we spun other material forms. We spun a denser and more structured body for Gaia. We first spun a set of powerful crystals for Gaia. The first was a set of twin hexagonal crystals joined at right angles in the center. These were iron-carbon crystals set to spin in an elliptical rotational pattern, eventually repeating and repeating. We set a third, purely energetic crystal on a perpendicular plane to the two physical crystals to help balance and continue the triune pattern so far existent in the partnerships of rotation of Gaia, the Shin Maa, and the cell bodies. Then we created a set of elongated crystals. We placed them with their longest and narrowest points facing inward, around the outer edge of the spherical orbit of the twin crystals. From there, they radiated outward, creating a spherical pattern. Each Shin Maa created 12 primary crystals of differing frequencies and structures. That resulted in 144 primary crystals in addition to the original inner crystals. These crystals generated a powerful energetic force that was the beginning of Gaia's truly physical body. These combined forces were the beginning of the electromagnetic forces present within the Earth today. The forces interacted with the individual crystalline bodies created in the earlier stages. We filled the spaces between the crystals with a set of mineral substances organized in striated layers. We left atmospheric pockets within some of the outer layers for future use by the planet and her cell bodies. We then created a set of additional body layers about the physical Earth body that decreased in density as they progressed outward. We charged these layers with different energy properties, including the primary chemical required by the soul bodies, oxygen. The outer layers became the atmosphere for the planet. At the same time, we spun more complicated bodies for each of the souls that incarnated with the planet. We developed bodies also composed of 13 layers of material and ethereal bodies for each soul. Now, the cell bodies of the Earth also had physical and energetic bodies of their own. The new patterns were set, with 13 layers of energetic and material patterns for Gaia and her new soul partners. We were satisfied to work together to discover the challenges and successes of this new environment. All were content for a long time. Stage 6, the sixth period of time. Eventually, the bodies of these soul beings evolved again. They began to need substance beyond the pure energetic properties provided by Earth. It was time to add new life forms to the system. Again, we used our access to the Tao, God, creative force, as we created plants and animals and expanded the material environment. This was a long, well-considered process that took advantage of the law of evolution. All 33 souls had input and helped make the determinations. But it was up to the Shin Maa, with Gaia's oversight, to complete the task and populate the planet with these new beings. Stage 7, the seventh period of time. After a long time, the cell-body beings of the Gaia soul system desired another, more challenging opportunity. We wanted to test and learn more from our host bodies. We wanted to explore the Gaia Earth environment, yet we still had a strong and ready connection to our wisdom core, or soul. The cell-body souls returned to the Shin Maa for counsel. These early souls felt that they could learn more from each other and their environment if they could only set aside large segments of their soul wisdom connection. We all pondered the possibilities. A decision was made. A set of energetic crystalline forces was implanted into each physical body. The crystalline forms, called impedance crystals, were designed and set in place to block the individual's natural connection with his or her soul or natural wisdom. A final design for spiritual beings to be able to travel upon the planet's body with vulnerability and opportunity to learn was created. Through the nature of dense, crystalline fluid physical bodies with crystalline implants, we were now challenged to live, experience, and grow in relative ignorance. Without the aid of a full wisdom connection, we would constantly test ourselves to discover our vulnerabilities and our strengths. Through our separation, we could learn and mature. It is an intensely powerful and challenging form, and it matches the original purpose of Gaia to be a school and a place to learn. Stage 8, moving beyond time. The system was set. It had progressed through 7 creation stages and was determined to be fully developed. We shifted to a process of evolution that would provide subtle changes within the soul bodies and all systems of the Earth, but the overall system would remain stable. We were content and stayed in the stage for a long time. After all of our hard work, we took a rest and enjoyed the fruits of our labors. Stage 9, the ever-present now. Eventually, with the system fully developed and Gaia's body fully manifest, we realized it was time to enlarge the population. Souls from other dimensions, times, and locations were invited to populate the new human, plant, and animal bodies. Procreation began, and more bodies were formed. More souls took up residency upon the earth. Many souls came to share the planet with Gaia. The opportunities for learning and tested multiplied exponentially. Many souls continue to share this experience in their reincarnation cycle. Only the original 13, Gaia and Shin Maa, are bound to stay in this planetary system. Others move about as needed for their own personal growth. And beyond. The structures, along with the mental and emotional components of Gaia's cell bodies, are still evolving. Sometimes they change dramatically, or are influenced by beings from other planet bodies. Sometimes it is part of Gaia's own evolutionary process that manifests powerful change. Gaia supports us in this separation partnership by providing a space and energy to live our lives. We are still experiencing new stages of evolution and growth as a connected planetary system. The Shin Maa are still part of the system. We reincarnate and work on our own soul lessons, but we are still somewhat separated. We stay connected to our initial agreements and work as guardians and teachers for the other soul bodies sharing the planet. And that is the story of how the planet known as Earth was born and evolved. The end of the beginning.